wasn't sure if I was actually doing it or Tanis has got it.
Well, I want you still to record Councillor Pelletier just in case.
I can't record because she's recording it already.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll risk it for the biscuit. We have enough in attendance to do so. We will start. Good. We're starting. We're good. Good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of Wednesday, April 22nd. I'll do quick introductions. Absent today is Councillor Joellen One. In person, we have our CEO, Shane Ray. Myself, Mayor Chris Ewan. Councillor Jeanine Belanger.
Evening.
Councillor Jason Bondarchuk. Good evening. Our planning officer, Tanis Klippenstein. And online, Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Evening.
Thank you. And quick test again, Councillor Pelletier, you can hear everything fine?
Yep.
Okay, those online, I just ask you to continue to keep your microphones mute until it's time to speak if you need to do so. We will go right into it and then I'm going to explain the public hearings or delegations process. Item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier. Anything to change or comment on before we open the meeting?
Good as is.
I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Open the meeting at 7:02 p.m. Adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger. Any changes to the agenda? We're good as is. Delegations and public hearings in the same sequence as presented by the agenda.
Yeah.
Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
None. That's carried. Thank you. Does council have any declarations of interest before we start the meeting? No conflicts, nothing? No. Adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier. Thank you. We have the regular council meeting of April 8th, 2026. Is council good with the minutes as is, or do we need any edits or changes or discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to delegations and presentations. So we have one delegation this evening. So the way the delegations work for the council there on the shot is the person doing the delegation or the delegate will be given 10 minutes to present their findings or their delegation. I will give them a 1 minute left warning so that they can finish anything they have to speak on. It's not to be rude or anything. It's just to give them the convenience of being able to say their final points. And then we will close that. It is not for council to ask questions at that time. If there are questions that need to be answered, we will send them to the administration and they will forward the answers if they can find them to the delegate. And we will start with 5.1, Stephen Petznick. No truck route violations in Oak River Meadows. Stephen, come on up.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
People here just for one delegation. I guess there's other stuff going on. Right, well, thank you so much for your time this evening. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I know my neighbors are with me, Janessa and Chris. So we live on Rosie Bloom inside Ile des Chênes. We are on the south side of Rosie Bloom. We're adjacent to the Oak River Meadows development. Since October, we've been dealing with the developers, Terracon, and CCing the RM consistently during that process. To our understanding, Rosie Bloom was not to be used as a construction access to get into their site. There's actually 2 access roads on Old 59 to get in and out of, bringing cement trucks and everything that they possibly can need into that development without utilizing our street. We've had multiple emails, multiple discussions. We had asked for barricades to be put up, signs to be erected by the developer. We started talking about this back in October, late October, and it took up until February 12th to get substantial barricades put in place, concrete barricades, which are now there. We've gone back and even when that was there, created a new issue where construction and heavy equipment would come down our street, hit the barricades, and then they would have to reverse the entire distance down our street. We're talking fully loaded cement trucks during the day. up to at least a dozen rolling in, back and out all day long because they don't know enough to go into the development. They plug in whatever the case may be and why they got confused. I believe it was their GPS's contract saying that Roseboom is not an access point, et cetera, et cetera. It got to a point, yeah, where we're seeing about a dozen of them going through a day on a daily basis. Again, emailing them. The RM was CC'd on all of this and everything that we went through. At the end of it all, not much was being done. There's no fines. There's no permits being looked at, and no permit violations, and it was just a free for all up until the point where our neighbors. I ended up contacting somebody through Manitoba Concrete. They ended up having a meeting with them. We found out that we're to start contacting, instead of contacting the developer, now start contacting the contractors that we see coming up and down the street, requiring us to take photos and truck numbers and license plates and all this other nonsense. We're not the police on that street. This isn't our development that's going in behind us. This is the developer's issue and should be taken care of. On top of that, it should be the RM's responsibility as well to support us and take care of this. This was an issue that was brought up in the original 2022 meetings. We knew that construction was going to be a problem. We knew that access was going to be bad because of that default lop off. It's been nothing but proving our points to a T that there was going to be a problem. We were told to trust the experts, trust Terracon, trust Landmark, and here we are today. There is a no truck route in place on Dufault. There is no reason for construction to come down, even touch our street. They are not to come down there unless the permits have been given, waived, or whatever they apply for to get access to it. I don't know if there's been caveats to that. Nobody's mentioned anything to me in emails. I've gotten radio silence essentially from the RM during my conversations through with Terracon. So something needs to happen, something needs to be done because it's still doing it. We just saw a full semi truck with a trailer behind it. It looked like a full 53-foot flat deck behind it. I don't know, I only see it on my security camera. I don't know what it looked like at the other end. I've seen a pump truck hit the ditch because they had to back all the way out. There's kids, there's enough of our own traffic to warrant this a big safety concern. The reason that I would love to know why the RM proceeded to allow this to happen for such a long period of time, to allow the vacancy of the permit officer to get this far, and why nothing has been happening up until this point regarding fines and things of that nature. It's gotten better, I will admit, since calling this delegation. But this is the only time we've seen any meaningful action. I don't want to use up all my time. I know Janessa and Chris had something to say, so I'd like to invite them up now.
You guys can split your time, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Janessa or Chris.
Thank you. In regards to the same development, we have two concerns. If you're familiar with the area, they put up fences from our backyards onto the new development, all except for 2 yards. Mine and a neighbor 2 houses down. Those trees encroach onto my property. I have 3 daughters, 3, 7, and 9. We have no backyard. I can't let them play out back because there is a 8-foot high pile of mud that a skid steer is clearing. It's an open construction field. So now my kids have to go to the front yard. As Stephen has said, there's heavy equipment driving up and down the street. So at what point will this all get taken care of before? Like, do one of my kids have to get hit before somebody steps in? Now, my wife has talked to, I believe, Shane Ray here in regards to the fence. So are they putting up a fence? If anybody knows, when are they going to be doing this? Do I have to keep my kids in the house all summer? And my second question is, the elevation on the new development is significantly higher than ours. So snowfall, springtime, when all that water starts draining off, our backyards are going to get flooded. Is that going to be looked after?
Okay, I can't give any answers now. Obviously, I'm just a politician here, but I know administration will get back to you on that. In terms of the drainage, I know that our drainage planner is pretty strong in that, so he will make sure that that's taken care of or looked at for sure with Terracon or the developer. Does council have any questions for either Stephen or?
I just wanted to comment on the fence. I did send Janessa a note the other day saying that we'd gotten a response from Terracon, and they're looking at building the fence this spring. They were held up last fall just due to the weather and the trees. So
That was my question. Thank you.
I do appreciate that. You can cut trees down all year round. So if that's what they're looking at, I don't really buy that.
Are you looking to cut the trees down completely?
I want them gone. Yes, I can.
Okay.
If I have
If
to,
you had put a fence there, the trees are blocking it.
if I put up a fence, I have to cut in 8 inches into my yard. And then I literally have no yard.
Just wanted to make a note.
no, that's good to know. I think the hope was to try and save the trees, believing it would be good for the community, good for you guys. But I think that's some direction that we can provide to Terracon in terms of taking down the trees. We'll probably speed up the plan to in terms of adding the fence.
And if they would have done it initially, like I had been in contact with Landmark regarding it, they could have just cut them down into a field. Now they're gonna have to get someone in there working in between these new houses and our houses. So they created a bit more work for themselves.
No, I appreciate your comment. The delegation still has 2 minutes. If Stephen, Janessa, you guys had anything else to add?
No, it's, like I said, it's this one issue with the construction vehicles. They shouldn't be there. We just want some support.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, you guys. Okay, we're gonna move on to public hearings now. So the way public hearings work for the arm of Richot is I will call the item number, and then the CEO will make any comment he has to offer, and then I will open the public hearing at X time. At that point, it's for the applicant to make any presentation or someone representing the applicant in person, online, or on the phone. And then you'll be given 10 minutes to make your presentation. After that, I'll be asking anyone in person, online, or on the phone to speak in favor. If you are in person, I ask you to come up to the chair. Please write your name and your address. And then you have, again, 10 minutes to make your say. And then if you're online, please unmute your microphone, turn on your video. And again, same thing, 10 minutes. And then anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, on the phone, same procedure. Final call after that. Anyone wishing to make any general comments, ask any general questions, whether you're in favor or not, you're more than welcome to ask any questions. And then we will ask if you wish to speak in favor or against for a final call. It may be up to the chair if they would like the applicant to answer any of the questions, if they can, that have been proposed. And then we will close the public hearing. After that public hearing is closed, that is for the council to make discussion. There will be no conversation between the gallery and the council. Likewise, you will not speak to the gallery. That's for council to debate. And then we will go from there. I will give a quick break if Bill Deshane would like to leave at this point, because I know there's nothing else added unless you're wanting to stay for the rest of council. I'll give a 1 minute break to welcome people. Unless you're gonna watch me the rest of the night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, so we will start with 6.2.1 C4 2026 Arm of Richot Lot 2 Plan 17133, no civic address, same gap.
So the Arm of Richot has made application to allow for a multifamily development consisting of up to 16 units in an RG5 zone. And the multifamily development is a conditional use in this zone as per our zoning bylaw.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing at 7:15 PM. Is the applicant or someone wishing to speak on behalf of the applicant here?
That would be us. And Tanis is going to address that.
Go ahead.
So this is being done to allow for the RM the option of selling the land in the future. Process was started when the RM was approached by a developer who wished to develop the land. Rather than sell the land, we undertook an EOI process to see if affordable housing could be developed on the land. And as council is aware, we received 2 submissions, one with scoring higher and meeting the criteria of affordable housing. council chose this applicant and directed admin to enter into negotiations to see if the land could be developed to provide affordable housing options for the community. These negotiations remain ongoing, so should an agreement be reached, this would then come forward to council for final approval. The proposed would see a maximum of 6 rental units, suites, 6 rental suites developed, or possibly less. Each suite would have space for 3 parking stalls. No on-street parking would be allowed. A fence would be built in the background, like where the highway is. And CMHC and Government of Canada have a definition for affordable housing, and so we're working with all parties to meet these definitions.
You said 6 there, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna confirm.
16, I'm sorry.
16,
Yeah,
16, yeah.
16.
Okay,
Per unit, yeah.
okay, thank you.
And no parking on the streets?
What?
Correct.
Correct, yeah, yeah. Okay, so is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application or the public hearing? Conditional use, sorry. Anyone online, in person, or on the phone? Anything received?
No.
Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Okay, we'll start that way, and work our way this way. Come on up. Okay, so just so you can go first, ma'am, so come on up.
Okay.
While she's stepping up, just so everyone's aware, once an idea or topic has been discussed, I will not listen to it again. You can say that you agree with the last discussion, but I just, for sake's time is of the essence, sorry. I won't listen to the same turnovers, but you're more than welcome to say you agree with the last debate or discussion. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My name is Iniko Krez. This is my husband, Adam Miller. We reside on Samoset where this development is being proposed. I know there's several people here that also live on that street or nearby, and I'm hoping to catch as many of their thoughts as well because we've had lots of discussions regarding our concerns. So I'll just try to kind of get into it and cover as much as possible. I think, at least for my husband and I, like our main concern with this development is the number of units in particular that have been proposed. This strip of land is not very large at all. Our home is actually right next to the highway, so we can attest to what it's like being right up next to the highway. And my understanding is that these homes would be even closer to this highway. It is very loud. There's snowmobile traffic. It just seems very strange that we would want to build residential housing there due to those concerns, as well as for how much space there's actually available there. We're quite surprised, I think, as many of us are, that 16 units are being proposed for that space. I don't know, is there any mention of the size of the units on?
Because of the conditional use, we're just looking at the land conversion,
Okay.
aren't presenting the.
Okay,
exact-
just because it's mentioned, like it's been mentioned before in the article, at least for the in Niverville, that they're 1,400 square foot units, which sound quite large. Many of us were discussing that that's actually bigger than most of our homes. And again, we're not quite understanding how they propose to fit all this onto that space. We have concerns regarding what the drainage would look like. So the highway's right there, the ditch on both sides of that strip of land, as well as in front of our home, how that would be managed. And also the parking is a big concern. So 16 units, I would assume at least 2 people per these units would be living there, if not more. We all know you live in a rural community, you need a vehicle to drive. So 2 vehicles probably per home, I would assume, is going to be the number that we're looking at. So 32 vehicles. This new mention of there being 3 parking spaces with each unit, I'm curious how on earth they would fit all that in there. That sounds excessive, like we would need the parking, but I'm not sure how they would accomplish this. So the information just seems not very,
Right, so.
to make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so the unfortunate reality of how this works for the administration or council is there has to come this conditional use, and then there's a development agreement that comes with that, and there would be an expectation and a requirement of those parking spaces to be allotted. correct?
Mhm.
So that's how that works. And then does the public get to entertain that development agreement at some point?
Well, I think we have some of the plans.
Okay.
We've shared those online before.
Okay.
I don't
In
know.
terms of the,
Seen any development plans? We have not received any.
so,
One very like photo of what at the front of a house would look like. So we've not received anything of what this would look
Okay.
like at
Okay.
all.
in terms of, I'll just touch on the drainage really quickly if you want, or do you want to
Yeah,
go through
no,
this and then
yeah.
you want to wait till after?
No, you can answer as we go.
Okay, so they have to submit a drainage plan that's approved by the for any kind of development. So I know our public works manager has already looked at the drainage and he doesn't anticipate any issues. In fact, it would be a land drainage system that would run to the highway. So they would also need highways approval because it would be taking water to the highway ditch. So there would be a drainage plan that would be submitted. In terms of the driveways, they're essentially, it goes up and then it bells out towards the front of the buildings. And so that's how they create 3 spots.
Per unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Are any of you familiar with what this piece of land looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you feel that 16 units could be built there with 3 driveways each?
100%.
I don't know how
I
that's.
don't know how you.
And I think everyone agrees with
Yeah.
that. That's 16
That's-
units
that's-
in there is.
That's not realistic.
That's your.
Like.
No, I appreciate that.
The plans themselves don't make sense, but in addition, like even just, again, building something there. What are we saying to the residents that we want to move there? Oh, you're good enough, you can live next to the highway where it's noisy.
One at a time, please.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with them including their comments as well, but, okay. So yeah, just in terms of like the quality of life to live there, there's not gonna be any green space. They can't have any outdoor space.
My question would be, what if it was an opportunity for senior housing?
Senior housing is more appealing, especially because with that proposal, there was less units. So that would open up space, that would allow less traffic potentially. I think one of the frustrations with the area is that it's such a small piece of land. The proposal is to put in a ton of units and we're basically being told 16 units are going here.
I just was asking the question.
Absolutely, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest concerns. There's kids on that street.
Mhm.
Adding 16 units, 2 cars per unit, that's 32 vehicles to add to.
It was also
A
clearing
street.
all the snow off of these driveways or off of the road. We get incredible drifts, the height of our vehicles.
Yeah.
Like the snow needs to be cleared immediately and we get great snow clearing, but on the public road. So again, these people don't have garages. How are they gonna have snow blowers? How are they gonna clean these driveways? Again, for the quality of living there, how is that gonna look for those people? So I mean, I'm not against there being more residential opportunities for our community, but we shouldn't just slap something together and call it good because it's a good financial opportunity.
For the sake of getting units.
For the
into
sake of getting
space.
units
Yeah.
into the space. I think it's a disservice to who we want to call our neighbors in the future to say, well, this is here, you can live here. And then what's gonna happen? Is anyone gonna wanna live there? I want to give other opportunities because there's many of us here, so I don't, unless you have anything else.
No, the only 2 things I was gonna say, and I don't hope this doesn't take away from what anyone else was gonna say, is I do think that land provides an opportunity to provide things to the community outside of housing. I think there's other places in the community where residents can be built, and that plot of land could be used for something such as a community garden, a dog run, a park. There's a school nearby, but during the school year, my kids can't play there because they don't go to school there.
Mhm.
So we're having to walk quite far out of our area to go to a park to play. And I think a lot of people in that area would agree. So I think that land does provide an opportunity for many other opportunities that would better our community.
I value that. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, next up.
I'm Rob Livingston. I live at 320 Family Set.
Sorry, can I get you to put your name and address there?
Yeah, it's just the.
Nope, just keep adding. your close.
Okay, perfect.
You're all person again, so it's good. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I agree with everything that they said. 2 other points that I would like to add is, I mean, we've been in the place for 20 years. I understand that this is something that is, the plan is to change everything. But we were told by our realtor that at that time, the RM had said that nothing would ever be going up there, except for the, trees for the windbreak and stuff like that. The other concern, which was something I didn't think of, but with the people who are here from Gildashane, is that there is going to be an awful lot of construction vehicles going into that area. And that road is very, very, very narrow. Right from the gas station all the way around back to the church. That road is there's no width for bringing in construction equipment and things like that. I think that, and the other question I have is that I understand that the proposal says that you're looking at having no parking on the street, but enforcement of that, I think would be difficult. I mean, right now, you know, every once in a while, somebody has the visitors over, stuff like that. They have somebody parking on their street if they can't get somebody into their driveway. But if you have more than one person coming to your house, where is that person going to park? So I think that would be, I don't think that enforcement is going to be something. To add to that, I know you don't want to listen to other things. I know the drainage issue has been brought up, but drainage in that issue, in that whole area has been a major issue every spring.
Have you reported any drainage issues?
We have spoken several times because of the culverts freezing out. Like there's only like two drainage that runs. One runs down Samoset into the ditch by the highway, and then everything else runs out to the main street. There has been lots of times when my backyard has flooded because of the culverts freezing over and things like that. I know my neighbors have had that same issue as well. And the RM has been better in the last few years at getting out there and getting those schemed out and everything like that. But there's a lot of drainage issues already, and I'm concerned that this would just add to that.
I appreciate that. And the only comment I can make at this point is our budgets included the CSO program, which is the Community Safety Officer. Thank you. So the availability of an officer to be able to monitor ticket infractions, et cetera, will be way more readily available than our bylaw services, which we had, which was like, we would have to tell them there was an issue, and then 2, 3, or 4 days later, they would arrive to see if there was an issue, which is almost impossible to ticket someone of that. But now hiring someone on as part of the arm of Richshot, that will give us the opportunity to have them out there monitoring the situation if this did come to be for parking, like you were speaking about, which will be a lot better for the RM. So that's just so you know that we have looked at that problem that we've seen in the past. Okay. Thank you. Next up.
Go around the back.
We'll go.
Yeah, we'll go
This way.
snake, like the Nokia, the snake. Just your name, sir.
Oh, okay.
Just for
I
me.
need your address on
Yes,
there.
your address.
Here's where.
Your name for me, so.
Sorry. It's Paul Boss.
Thank you, Paul. Go ahead.
Right, in a good sense, a lot of the things I wanted to say have been said already, but I'll try to not repeat too much.
Yeah.
My name is Paul Bosk. I live on 223 St. Agatha Street. I've been in St. Agatha for 40 years. My wife, so I'm speaking on behalf of my wife as well, who's been a lifelong resident. She was born there. Our property backs onto the properties which face this parcel of land. So I do have a very good sight of the highway and through the other yards. So my first thought regarding this proposal was just total disbelief, and it's just to concur with what was said already. This parcel of land is so narrow. If you look even on the map, it's like extremely close, right on Highway 75. A lot of traffic, a lot of noise, a lot of wind, like someone mentioned about snow drifts and stuff. So much so that maybe most of these people don't know, but almost 25 years ago, one of the residents who's no longer there, but who was on that street Sam was at, took it upon himself to give a lot of volunteer hours. He procured some trees and shrubs, and he planted them on that parcel of land. And since then, we've really appreciated it because it not only is it nice green space, but it's cut down on the winds, cut down on the road noise. It's certainly cut down on the drifting and stuff. And even on my street behind it, I've noticed a big difference because I've been there for 29 years where I am now. And so I certainly don't want to remove that green space and those trees. And looking at what's proposed, there's no way that those trees will can stay and putting up housing. The second thing was, I know that recently there's a lot of discussion about safety at the intersection of Highway 75 and 305. I'm sure that's most people's perspective is the problem is there's a very narrow median between the southbound and northbound lanes of Highway 75. Even worse after they started putting turning lanes once they developed the Flying J's and all the elevators. Now, the problem is there's not enough room for the trucks to even stay in the median if they're trying to cross over or turn north or south. And I know that even the municipality has been looking into, pushing the province to improve safety there. Now, how is this related? Well, if you take away that parcel of land, I was looking at it, like if you wanted to, one of the possible things they might do, might want to do is make that medium wider. In other words, put more space between the northbound and southbound lanes. And one of the things they could do is use up part of that land and just move the highway over a little bit towards San Jose Street to make the median wider at the intersection. So what we're doing here, we're taking away that possibility of doing that. Now they might as well do it on the west side, but we're taking away a chance to improve that corner because this parcel is right south of that intersection. And there's also a turnoff on the 305. So that's something we should not be touching at. It may be important to improve that safety. Now, it's been mentioned already how close this thing is to the highway. We all know that there's tons of vehicles that go in the ditch at that intersection every year in the wintertime. I could foresee having a house there. I could foresee a transport truck sliding into the ditch and literally going into the backyard of these people. Literally, like if you just have to take a walk and take a look at where the ditch is on the highway, it's right there. And there's a lot of semis that slip into the ditch on either side. So that's a concern. And drainage is another concern that's been mentioned already. And you know what? This is a good time of the year. Springtime visit will clearly show that that parcel of land is serving as an area to hold water. Right? I walked by there even this week, and I know a lot of the snow and water is gone, but there's still water pooled there on that land, and that land is lower than the road. So I know what's going to happen with development. You're going to raise the houses up, drain everything towards the street or in the back. But you're already there's still water being pooled there, and as was explained, a lot of the water, even behind my house, all that water drains to the street under that culvert and goes into the ditch of the highway. But there's a lot of water that stays where the trees are because it's a low-lying area. It's also the place where most of the time in the wintertime, the municipality is pushing snow. It's the only place when they snow clear, since there's a lot of snow there because of the highway, they push that snow onto that parcel and that's where it stays. So I don't know where they're going to put the snow if there's a bunch of houses there. So definitely that's several of the reasons why I oppose it. Now, should council decide to proceed with this proposal, my wife and I would consider this one of the worst case scenarios. And there's also some other concerns regarding residential development in St. Agathe that are worrisome, and this falls right into that. So first and foremost is there's a regrettable trend to try to push high density housing in small towns like St. Agathe. And this is not the first time I talk about this. Now, I'm sure we speak for other people, but most people move to small towns like St. Agathe to have a little bit more room, less cluttered housing. In the city, lots are smaller, lots of multifamily structures, smaller distances between buildings. This is not the norm in rural areas, and that's what most people don't want when they're in a rural area. And that's the reason I chose to live there. I grew up in the city of Winnipeg. I don't want to have 5 feet between houses. Now, just to give you an idea about, and I was mentioned already, even if I count one of the houses that faces the other way on the side, there's only 6 houses facing that parcel. And now we're planning to put 16 units facing 6 nicely spaced yards. To me, that doesn't make sense. If you had 6 residences in front of 6 residences, that would make sense. Even though there's no depth to it. But 16 is just totally ridiculous. And I agree with the person who said that, and that's my opinion as well, but it's totally ridiculous as far as planning proposal, especially if you're talking about. The other thing is, and I'm not, once again, we never received any details about what type of housing it would be. But we assume that 16 units would have to be very narrow, probably 2-story structures to get a bit of room. And once again, there's always, often we don't propose anything that has bedrooms on the first floor, which would be senior friendly or handicapped people friendly. Most of the units that go up that are 2 stories their bedrooms are all upstairs or in the downstairs. And so a lot of the condo projects that have been proposed in the past that haven't gone through in St. Agathe, a lot of them had no bedrooms on the first floor. So, most people, when you get into your 50s, you're not interested in buying or moving into properties that have no bedrooms on their first floor. It's not senior friendly at all. And it's too bad that we're not encouraging that as much. Now, there may be some need for alternative housing in St. Agathe. I could agree with that. But just to let you know, down my street, there's already a condominium complex with about 16 units. And as we speak, they're putting up another 16 or 18 units right now, and they're rental units. And I think that's less than 2 blocks away from this parcel. And also in the new developments when they were made, there was some room. There's several side by sides, which accommodates alternative housing needs. But what this is being proposed here is not in line with what the neighborhood is. And a lot of people will agree with that. It doesn't match our neighborhood at all. When you make a brand new development, you can put a little corner with multi-family housing, small, compact, but not where it is. So for all those reasons, totally against this development.
Okay.
Or any development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, any questions for?
No,
No, thank you so much. Okay, next up in the back. You're good? Okay, come on up. Just your name, please.
So my name's Aaliyah and I live in St. Agathe.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And I used to reside on Samoset. I no longer reside there, but we raised our family in the early years on Samoset there. And although it's right off the highway, it's one of the quietest, if not the quietest street in St. Agathe. Unless you live there, there's no reason to be there. And I just feel like it's a huge disservice to take that away from the residents that do live on that street. Yeah, I'm not opposed to any growth in St. Agathe. I just don't think that this is the place for it. As everybody else who has spoken, it's actually inconceivable. Even my 8-year-old, when we drive by, she just looks at that, Mom, they want to put like that many houses there? How does that make any sense? Like, to an 8-year-old. And it doesn't make any sense at all. A lot of things I wanted to say, people have said, but one of the things that I'm curious about, because you said that somebody approached the RM about it, did anybody from St. Agathe, or was there like, who is in need of this? Have community members come up and said, this is what we need in St. Agathe? Was there anybody that came forward to say we want low-income housing on the smallest piece of land ever?
So it was a St. Agathe, I believe is a St. Agathe resident, is the one that originally approached the RM with wanting to develop the piece of land. And it's not low income, it's affordable housing.
Affordable housing, sorry.
Yeah, there's a difference because it's based on kind of rental rates and market rates and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not meant to be low income, it's different. So yeah, it was actually a St. Agathe resident who brought forward the idea to develop that land. And rather than just simply turning the land over to them, that's where we went to the expression of interest and asked for people, believing that affordable housing is a need throughout, obviously, the RM. That's why when we did the EOI, it was based on the affordable housing model. So.
And so as somebody who lived on Samoset, I had reached out in 2023 about that parcel of land, about community gardens to you, Shane, and I
Yep.
have an email about it. And I never received anything back. You had said you were gonna, I'm gonna take this and, has that ever been discussed about community gardens? Because not only myself, but Aniko and Debbie and like other people I know are like, this is an amazing opportunity, a green space that's not very large, that we could get something like that going. And I'm a resident and I brought that forward too. And, I know it's not going to make you any money, but it would create community and what St. Agatha is all about. So I'm just wondering, were other things considered on that parcel of land prior to this? Has anything else been considered? Prior to
That I
this.
can't answer because just being newer in the role, like here, I know you obviously brought forward the community gardens. It's not something that we've had a bunch of requests for from across the RM. We are undergoing a new recreation master plan, and that'll be starting here shortly. And so that'll be one of the things that we look for in terms of feedback from the community would be, are those the kind of things that they want? So yeah, so it's not something that has been turned away. It's just moving forward with it is also based on requests. So.
Mhm. And so was the community consulted about the type of residence that they would like on that parcel of land?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can speak to this. When I was first mayor, when we had Councillor Jean Robert, he was part of this committee where they looked at the opportunities to grow younger families into the town of St. Agatha, as well as trying to get the seniors to stay in St. Agatha. That was their goal and vision. So you can see the south side of St. Agatha. Is that the newest development? The south side of St. Agatha had that big boom. And this would be, I'm not saying the specific land, but this would be another opportunity that their vision was specifically. Again, that was a while ago, so the evaluation might change, but it was still a vision from the community.
But as other community members have said, that the chances of this being attainable for seniors is unlikely because of the stairs that would be required in the home and so I know that there was another proposal for that and you guys have decided with the 16 units, but it just feels like one of those scenarios where these 16 units, and maybe it won't be 16, maybe after, but it just feels like you kind of take, asking for an inch and taking a mile, and it just feels like it doesn't feel like a good fit. Again, the other things that have been talked about is the parking, the traffic. I mirror those sentiments that everybody has talked about. The drainage, again, I've lived there. The mowers for the RM, they can't even get in there. There's it ends up being like a wetlands in there with like grass this high because they can't mow in that area, and you're going to have to haul in dirt and do that. The streets, I just don't feel like is even capable of bearing the weight of these trucks coming in with all of this. The snow removal has been touched on, like where's all that snow gonna go? Emergency access, if there are people parked on the street, even though I know you say that there's not supposed to be street parking, I just can't even fathom fitting 32 cars on that parcel of land as it is right now, alongside other houses. Like, I'm just wondering, has the emergency services reviewed this plan at all for adequate access for fire trucks and ambulances?
So our chief goes through that, our chief firefighter.
Yeah. And in the plans, I know it's been touched on, but is the RM planning on having the builder planning on removing all the trees that are there? Is there going to be?
That's a question we can ask.
So right now in preliminary conversations, the plan would be to try and save as many trees as possible. And any trees that would be removed would try to be replaced in some way, shape or form. So that's what they've indicated, so.
And is there going to be any yards for these homes?
I would have to look again at the drawings to determine there is some space, yes.
And how far away from the highway are these homes going to be? How many feet from the highway are these homes going to be?
I don't know the width of the ditch, so I can't tell you from the property line to the highway what that distance is off the top of my head.
But they would also need the provincial highways approval.
Correct. And it's
50 feet.
25 feet from essentially what they're indicating would be a fence to the property line.
25 feet.
The property line's not right at the ditch. There's land and then the ditch.
And did the RM make a decision on whether you are gifting the land to the builder or if there's going to be a transaction?
That's something that we're working through with them right now. So we haven't made any kind of decision in that way.
So I have another question about like financial impact. So obviously with this, to me, it feels like it's a crappy piece of land that you're willing to give away for free so that you can ultimately make money on the taxes. So what are the annual projected tax revenue from a development like this?
We're not sure what it would be assessed at yet, so that's some of the things that we would have to look at.
Can I make a comment about that?
Go ahead.
Mhm.
We hear this a lot from a lot of residents that all we care about is taxes. That is probably the lowest on our priority. We don't care about taxes. We look at the community in a whole, all our communities. So I just wanted to put out that you guys can believe that if you want, take it as you want, as you will, but that is our sentiment. So.
Well, I'm just still struggling to see what community members are longing for this, because all of us here are not, are obviously opposed. There was nobody for it. And the developer is the one that contacted you about this. So it just feels like it's missing the mark for the people that live on the street, for the people that live in the community. It's an amazing little green space that I know my kids utilized. I know that other residents' kids use that green space. I know dogs, go for walks on there. I know that it gets used in the winter with some, sleds and snowmobiles. And it feels like a big miss for the RM, in my personal opinion. And I'm just one person, but there's more behind me. So
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Next up. Your name, sir?
Greg Giesbrecht.
Brett, sorry?
Greg. Yeah.
Greg. Brett, I was right.
You're right.
Thank you. Go ahead, Brett.
So, one thing that's basically, I agree with whatever everybody else said. Currently, even that is a common use place for snowmobiles. And I am currently the house that is right next to the outdoor rink and the indoor rink. Currently, I do sleep on the top floor. I could hear practically everything around me, even people hanging their trailers at the Flying J. So there's a lot of noise. I already know there's going to be a lot of noise. Building the construction there would ultimately cause the same thing, where there'd be a lot of noise for the couple of years. And I do want to know, is there any piping or any electrical cords that run underneath that specific spot? And if there is,
Like hydro cord, sorry?
hydro cord, water,
Okay.
and if there is, when it breaks, or if it breaks, what's going to happen? Are we just going to be without water for a couple months? That's what's going to happen. And yeah, I think that ultimately it's just going to be a lot of noise, and potentially if it's built higher than 2 stories high, they're going to end up with the same problem as I do, because I can hear people talking at the Flying J at night if they're loud enough. And if they have a 2nd story high building closer to the highway, they're definitely going to hear everybody at Hemp Oil and that Flying J.
I can't speak on hydro because it's provincial or it's crowned, but I can say our public works has a pretty good response time. I don't know if anyone can attest to it, but we've seen very limited water outages or anything in any community in Richard since I've been mayor. But hydro, I mean, we could definitely ask that question. What kind
There's
of,
no, according to our mapping, there's no utilities that go through that.
there you go.
Some on the one end of the one lot, but
Very minimal, and there's always response time recorded through hydro. And our utilities have never recorded any consistent issues. And if they do, it's pretty quick response time. That's what I can attest to.
Does that show, Shane, does that show hydro and Valley Fiber and all that?
We can't see. He's looking at me.
Gas?
well, it shows the utilities show all that, do they not? Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
Have you ever had an issue over there?
With water and, well, technically my house is the one that actually has 2 different things that MTS and everybody actually has to go through.
Oh, okay.
So I
Over here.
technically, yes, but they haven't dug up all that much that often, so they usually generally are pretty nice and knock on my door first, but.
I'm curious. Okay. That's the only answer I can give you.
Yeah, no. And, yeah, everything, basically everybody else covered over, even the snowmobiles and everything, that is a common used area for snowmobiles, kids playing, there's a lot of people that do play, not CrossFit, I'm trying to think of the word, either way, just that place is
General activities, yeah.
general activities, and last thing, which I know of everybody else covered over, for parking spot place, the park on the street. I barely have enough spot to park my truck in front of one of the residences here. There's very minimal spot to actually park a vehicle as it is. There's no way they're gonna have to park on the next street over, and even then, since that's close to the daycare, there's a lot of traffic where even when I have to back out of the daycare, I actually have to really check to see if there's no kids around and everything like that. If there's enough construction people that are going in and out, there is kids that commonly go through there, and there's going to need to be some kind of flagger of some kind in those two areas just to monitor vehicles, which so it's just I'm just worried about the noise and construction, because there is a lot of parents that just drive back and forth even at my property, and I'm kind of scared that there's going to be a lot of people parking their vehicles on our end, and then construction, and then kids walking by.
Okay,
And that's all.
thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, come on up. Just your names for council.
Yeah, it's Corey Boswell
Corey and
and John.
John.
We live at, right on the corner.
We're in Somerset,
Go ahead.
almost 30 years. Wait, I have the first question.
For sure.
Of every 6 people here today, other than Joelle, who has been,
Advocating for this.
no, who has been down our street, both of them, to see what the neighborhood is like?
Like in general, like over the 9 years I've been the mayor,
Sure.
I've been there probably 15 times.
I was there a couple times in the last month, just driving around.
Driven down there a few times and looked it around.
And how was it? Is it quiet?
Well, mine was mid-afternoon, so
Oh,
Generality,
usually, you know.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point.
quiet. In the evenings, people walk their dogs back and forth, back and forth. Our kids play on the street. It's safe. That other brings into the other concern. We have everything in our yard unlocked, sleds, bikes, basketball hoops, balls, whatever. Garden, we have chickens. In the past almost 30 years, we had maybe 4 incidences of vandalism. So now we're gonna bring in more people to the area. Not saying that they're gonna be vandalism people, but it just brings in more traffic. And
In an area
we're
where,
opposed to that.
in an area where traffic is already an issue, okay? You get arena traffic, those guys will come in, because there's one way in and one way out. They come out of the arena, they think they can make their way out and get to the highway from there. They are ripping by the house. They're ripping around the corner. They realize that they can't get through. They turn around and they rip right back. What's the plan for traffic to get in and out of that space other than past our house? Past our house again.
And almost running over our son on a scooter twice.
There's no way in and out of that space. It is a cul-de-sac, essentially speaking. And we're gonna put 32 vehicles in there? It makes no sense.
Even if it was 8 flat story places, it's still gonna be traffic and construction. For how many years? At the time,
And at the end of the day, as far as noise, people will live where they want to live. We live in the noise. That's our choice. That's our choice.
Which house are you guys?
We're at 376 Beret. We're right on the corner.
and
We're the little
there's-
blue house on the corner.
I've called the RM, I've called RCMP, I've called Steinbach, I've called highways. Numerous amount of times about trucks using their Jake brakes on the highway when there's a sign on both sides going north and south. Well, that's not our jurisdiction. So who's gonna answer me and who's gonna police it? We haven't had any responses. But at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's all local vehicles,
Farm guys.
farm guys. They even use them going into the Flying J from the elevators. And I work right behind the Flying J at Riverbank Construction. They use them coming into the Flying J off the 305, going into the Flying J, into the Flying J. It's like, what's the point? Well, we can't police it. Sorry, that's different
Different than this. yes.
than that.
Concern, I appreciate that. I think that, I mean, I said it a little earlier, but I'm gonna stress it again, that I think the CSO program is from council. I think it's gonna see quite a difference on what we can and can't do in our municipality and our community. Yes, we have the RCMP and we're very fortunate for them. But the CSO program will be able to alleviate some of your stresses. I'm not saying that has anything to attach to what we're doing.
Right,
But it's an opportunity for you to say that, hey, this is.
Yeah, if there's any other time that we can.
Yeah.
Bring this to council.
You're always welcome to.
So my other question is with our road the way that it is,
Mm-hmm.
okay? We are completely ignored over in that corner. The entire rest of the town basically has been resurfaced and re-culverted and
You're
whatever
talking
else.
infrastructure, you're
Yep,
ignoring?
yep.
Okay.
What are they gonna do with that road to widen it? Because in the winter time, that thing gets so narrow that you can barely park a vehicle on there and get by it. So when you're gonna have two-way traffic with multiple residences with multiple people coming in and out, you're gonna have additional school buses because if they're not French, they're not going to school in St. Agathe, they are getting bussed out. What's the plan for that street? Is there gonna be additional access to be able to access the highway, either going towards the school, past the school to access the 305? Because I know 75 highway is not gonna be an option. So that it's not a bus loop to go through there.
We can't even get our grade 12 and grade 10-year-old to have a bus come down our street. It comes right behind
They have to walk to the arena.
the graveyard, the cemetery, sorry.
Okay, I can answer the capital plan. And when Samoset was last. I'm not sure or renovated or anything. I would have to check with our public works manager or our counselor. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight.
There's a crack just, I'd say 10, 20 feet about in front of, let's say, south of the intersection of Burr and Samoset. And every time somebody drives over that crack, our house shakes.
And the culverts are bending in.
Yeah. And it's been brought up, like, why? Like, why can't this be fixed?
You brought this up to council or administration before?
To highway, like to Yardworks.
To Yardworks, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with respect to the construction and the heavy trucks that are gonna be going in there, concrete trucks that are gonna be going in there,
It's just gonna crumble the street.
it's gonna be, it's, there's not gonna be anything left. And there's certainly not gonna be room for two of those big vehicles to go side by side with each other, trying to get in and out of there. And agreeing with what everybody else has said, like, and again, people will choose to live where they want to live. If they want to live in the noise, that's their option. I am not the person that's gonna limit them. My concerns are that, yeah.
Appreciate that, thank you. Is there anyone else in person that would like to speak? Yeah. Come on up. Your name?
Jamie, I live at 242 Somerset.
Okay, to write your name and address down there.
So just like you're a politician, I'm an electrician, just an electrician. But so I
We're
work,
in that shin at the end, so we're the same person.
I work in construction often. So you guys have been in Senegat, obviously. You've seen the bridge construction, right? Where do those guys park? Both sides of the street,
Yep, sure.
right? I drive a work van. I wouldn't even be able to get my van out of my driveway if those guys parked on my street.
Okay.
Right? And so that's, you see how many cars that park there? If you're building probably a 3-story building, you need what, 3 cars on the bottom? Sorry, good luck. But so working in construction in Sage Creek, I put up some buildings on Desjardins Street. Actually, go look at them because it almost seems like that's what you guys want to build. It's a garage on the bottom, 2nd story, and a 3rd story.
Okay. Not really.
Nowhere near 1,400 square feet. And they have
Where's that
12
one?
units.
Where are you referring to? What town?
Sage Creek,
Okay, it's not, but I understand. I know the concept you're thinking of, but it's
Desjardins, it's kind of the same, what you guys are saying.
not really, but okay. Go ahead.
But and so with people parking on the street, you're gonna have to widen the street.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 fire hydrants on either end. You're gonna have to move the fire hydrants. Well, then that lowers how much space you have from the ditch, right? You need 30 feet from the road. That's the variance.
Yep.
So 30 feet, and then highways probably needs, I'm not sure, 100 for their ditch.
Okay.
It just doesn't seem like it's gonna make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, anything else?
It's convenient, the only guy from Senegat's not here.
He had a prior work,
Thank you.
so.
Thank you, Jamie. Anything else before I go for another round? I will give grace to the counselor from St. Agathe. He is passionate about his community, as I can attest to 110%, but he does have a full-time position, and he did have to attend that. Unfortunately, he did want to be here tonight, so I will not take any negligence or ignorance about that. No. Thank you. I don't care. I don't care. Thank you.
That's the attitude? That's the attitude though?
Yes.
Really, I don't care?
Unfortunately, it is.
Great to know. Thanks
you.
for looking out for our community.
Anyone else in favor or against?
All I was gonna say is that I spoke to Joel Moyne on the phone and he left his phone number on the Facebook post in the community, and I had a really good discussion with him about it. So if anybody has any questions for Joel, I highly recommend reaching out to him.
Thank you, Olivia. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor or against, or make any general comments or questions?
Good question.
Yeah,
Can
come
I
on.
come back to the chair? Can I stay here?
You can come to the chair, please.
So it was said by one of you guys up here that you were approached by a member of the community, and you might not be able to answer the question, and that's absolutely fine, but I think it's worth saying. Was that community member a developer and contractor that's looking to line their pockets, or was that a community member that was looking to improve the community? You probably can't answer that question, but I think it should be said.
I can't answer the question because I don't know his intentions. It was a developer who's a community member who saw it as an opportunity.
To line the pockets.
Well, that's
I can't.
an opinion.
That's-
I understand. No, I know, and I understand you can't say that, but one thing if it's a community member that's not a developer, that's not a contractor, that says, hey, this could better our community. It's another one where it goes cha-ching, cha-ching, business, business, business. That's a whole nother agenda.
And that would be a conversation that you need.
I
to
just
have
think
with
it's
him.
worth being said, that's all.
Yeah, with him.
Yeah, I just think that's worth being said.
Thank you. Anyone online or on the phone, general comments, questions? Now, last call, online, on the phone, in person, general comments, questions, maybe you're,
Question.
yeah, come on up.
Do we get to see these development plans? None of us have seen anything.
It'll be part of council and the development agreements that's done with the administration. I don't know if there's a public, I don't know if there's an open house from the developer. I can't confirm that.
We could request it.
We
for
could
sure.
request it
We
for
could-
sure.
Right,
Yeah.
we're just speculating on things of what it might look like and whatnot, and we're trying our best to understand what this
I
vision is.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate
So
that.
none of us have any idea what this is even supposed to look like.
Yeah, we
We can
can,
have some basic renderings here.
yeah, I don't, honestly, like renderings, we've all seen this before from Cal. They're not always as they seem, so we can definitely request it. I do appreciate that.
I just think that the number 16 is a little too high. I think everybody agrees that if possible for that's a bare minimal, but it's possible 16 is just acceptable.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I think it's nothing. I don't agree with any number.
Okay. I'm gonna close the public hearing at 8:06 PM. Do I have a mover?
Council question, please.
Sorry, go ahead. Before I close the meeting.
The developer that building these suites, either 8 or 16. Is that the same developer that's building the new development behind the Case Bank?
No.
No,
We will, yeah, we'll answer that. No. Having said that, this is not.
Okay. So he has no foot in the ground for that.
No. The hearing, I know it sucks for everyone, but the hearing is for the conditional use to develop a lot. It's not about the developer, what they're doing. It is just to allow the development to happen. It's an unfortunate procedure in how the RM works and how council has to go through this. We're not looking at any specific renderings. We're looking at just converting this to the conditional use.
Is there a date
For what, sorry?
for anything to happen?
Like shovel in the ground, you mean?
Yes.
I can't confirm that right now. This is again, like, I know, honestly, I would love to hold, I'm gonna say this freely, which I probably shouldn't, but I would love to host a meeting where it's like how this works for council. I'm just as tired as you guys sometimes about this, okay? Like, honestly, I've got 5 months left and
So
it's
there will be
exhausting.
more.
There will be more information. I would love to give you guys an open house. I want you guys to enjoy your community. That's the reality of this. I don't want you to hate what you live in. I know you think I do, but I don't. I don't care about your taxes and getting more money. It doesn't pay me more. I want you guys to love where you live, okay? And there's an unfortunate reality that we have to do procedures of conditional use, public hearings, planning and development, open houses. That's the reality of it, okay? That's just me being passionate about why I love what I do and why I love when you live in Rich Hop. That's what it is, okay? That's just how it's gonna be. We have to do the conditional use today. I don't have anything else for you, unfortunately. I would love to give it to you. I will request an open house from the developer so you guys can see the opportunity that you have for people that can be part of your community if this goes to fruition. That's what I want to do for you tonight. That's all I can offer. That's all I can give you, okay? I'm sorry. Sure. Go ahead. No,
I
right.
really did enjoy the way that you spoke to me.
That's-
Earlier. You're the only one who raised, you were the only, you raised, I'm the only one you raised your voice to. Everybody else was sitting here and was raising their hands and asking questions, sitting in their seat. And
Leah, you're absolutely right. I apologize for the way I treated you. I should have done it to every single person here. They were all being rude and they were talking out of line when I told them they shouldn't. So everyone here that was speaking out of line, how dare you? Aaliyah, I'm sorry. Okay, I am very sorry I did that to you specifically.
You're
Now-
a joke.
Yeah, now I'm
You're a
gonna,
joke.
thank
You're an
you.
absolute joke.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Elections start October. You're more than welcome to run. This is what I'm doing. I'm closing the meeting now. Do I have a mover? No, I had a first. I need a second. Counselor Boddenchuk, thank you very much. Okay, go ahead, Counselor.
So, sorry, I gotta gather my thoughts here. It is a conditional use. The RM has made application that would allow for a multi-family development happening in an RG5 zone. As mentioned, a multi-family development is a conditional use in an RG5 zone. So whereas council has considered the application and any representations for or against the conditional use, it would be resolved that the conditional use is approved, subject to any of the following conditions, whether that's developer entering into a development agreement prior to the issuance of any building permits. Is the one main one we've put. We can add additional conditional uses if council wishes to approve this
conditional use.
Thanks so much. I closed the meeting at 8:10 PM. I don't know if I gave you the timing. Council, open for discussion. Council Pelletier, you anything to add?
Not yet. I'll wait for conversation to start. Sorry.
Well, conversation starting. If Councillor Bonnerchuk has anything to add?
I'm just trying to figure out what the developmental plan and everything too, if it goes ahead on what can be added and what can't be added, because I do hear what they're saying. Also sounds like some say that's not exactly this, but something there, and others are saying absolutely nothing. Right? So I'm just trying to figure it out in my head right now.
So what we've heard from the public is they'd like to see an open house, there's traffic concerns, so maybe a reduction of speed limit, we can add to the development agreement. We've also heard that noise is an issue, maybe barricade from like some type of fence from the highway can be done. And I think those are the major points. I mean, there are multiple other ones, but those major points, and no parking on the road. We can obviously add that to the development agreement. During construction, we can ask our CEO to monitor this to make sure that the construction stay on site in their development, to make sure that our residents do get, access to and from their street and to their home. Those are the four that I've noticed. Councillor Blanche?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the things that the residents say, actually, almost everything. We've heard this before, not in my backyard. That's a quote all the time that we hear. Progress happens, moves forward. So I actually have to agree that not in my backyard kind of applies here. It does seem like an odd piece to be developing this. It is a narrow street. That street is going to get chewed up. Just hearing about the development Ile des Chênes with the delegation that we had earlier, it's going to be very disruptive. And I know it's short term in development, but it is very disruptive. It's interesting that one of the residents brought forward a community garden and dog park and all these other suggestions. I'd be interested to find out if anybody's actually thought of putting a committee together to develop this piece of land, to propose that. It's great to come back after the fact and say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? That's not the job of council to create parks. It's to support ideas and developments that come forward. It's a tough one. I feel for the residents, and I think they have a lot of valid points. The other side of this is, the misconception of affordable housing. Canada's in a crisis. Nobody can afford a house. Nobody can afford anything moving forward. This is one of those opportunities that we felt that could help that alleviate this issue that Canada has. But is this the right location? It's always going to be tough to find a location, I'm sure, but I'm struggling with this location.
Thank you. Councillor Pelletier, did you want to add something?
I'm leaning towards tabling this until we do our community planning and our rec master plan. I don't think the developer would be opposed to this getting pushed back, but as we all know, building costs go up 30% pretty much every quarter these days. So that could be a sticking point, but I know staff has put a lot of work into this and following what council has asked for, but if we can, I would not be opposed to tabling this at this point until those two community engagements sessions happen.
Are you looking for a 30-day table, Councillor Pelletier, for the next evening meeting?
Probably longer than that, because I don't even know if we've finished our RFP process on that work being done.
Yeah, well, because it's a public hearing, I do have to set a date. So are you okay with that?
So it's preferred to set a date. We can.
No, we can set a date. Then we can push the developers to create an open house. I think if we set a date, they have no reason to not do an open house for community engagement.
I do like what Councillor Pelletier is saying, because I think lot of concerns, absolutely, from everyone. You guys took the time to come in. It wasn't letters, it was you guys coming in. And I think even there's some that are saying they want something there or be open to something there. I shouldn't say want, I take that back, so I apologize. That they're open to seeing something there potentially, depending what it is, like senior housing, obviously, or some other type of housing, or less of the 16. And there's also some that are saying straight out no. So I think that's going to bring the developer with an open house, if you can get them to actually speak to the community a bit and maybe do that community engagement.
Okay, thanks, Councilor Blanchard there. Let's look at the next council meeting. So I'm proposing July 15th. Unfortunately, it's the middle of summer, but it's within this next quarter, as Councilor Pelletier has mentioned, that things do get more expensive as the quarter goes by. It gives 2.5 months. Is council okay with that table?
I'd be okay with that as long as we can set something up within that time frame. You know, make it due diligence, have either the developer do an open house or the RM does a community engagement within that time frame to have discussions with everybody and have an open discussion, a fair and open discussion. So that's why we do these things.
Councilor Pelletier?
Yeah, I think that's a little tight for any consultant to come in and do the work, but yes. But I also don't want this to turn into our rec master plan turning into I don't want houses session. So that's more for the and I'm talking through the chair, that's more for the ratepayers in the room. We do want good engagement on our rec plan and our community planning.
Okay. I'm going to set the next meeting for July 15th at the regular council meeting for 7 p.m. Table this, so there will be no decision made this evening. There will be no public hearing, though.
No, because you closed it.
Already. Yes, thank you. So you've tabled the decision. Yes, tabled the decision. Thank you very much. I will give a 1-minute break. I will answer a question now. It's out of the meeting, but I'm more than welcome to answer it. I'm happy to answer it.
On your comment about is gardening, quote unquote, dog park across from our house. That would be phenomenal. Everybody along that street has backyards big enough for gardens, but we all have our dogs there. Our kids play there. Like when you look across the dike on this side of town, look how big that is. And what's there? Compare that to that little strip between Samoset and Highway 75. You think there's more room on the other side of the dike here for 16 houses or 8 houses? I'm sure as hell there is. Sorry, but there is. Because there's a Frisbee park there, there's a walking park, sleds drive through there. And you can't do that across from our place. We use it as our backyard that we don't have.
So my comment will be, we will push the developers to host this open house. Please attend. What I can say, please attend. What you're concerned.
Be in Santa Catherine here.
We will do our best to make it as close to the area that's being affected as possible. I can't guarantee.
Nice.
I can't guarantee, but I will try my hardest to make sure it happens. I will answer 3 more questions, but I do have a long meeting, so go ahead.
Quick question, will you be sending letters as well?
That's the
Yeah,
goal.
we would notify the same notification.
Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
If there was any opposition from the people who attend these meetings, they've already missed an opportunity to come, like, because you said that the hearing is closed, right? So you're just tabling the decision.
Right.
So there will be no opportunity for anybody to discuss this or come forward if for people who didn't know about it, or, you know, like, that's my concern. It's like, okay, we're gonna give you, you know, 2 months here and, but, you know, we have 2 months to make this decision, but are you gonna take any more of the community members' input is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, so even though this process has been closed and the decision is tabled, council is able to do research, hear from the community, and continue to do their due diligence to make the proper decisions. So while it's not going to be within the public hearing, I would say they would absolutely hear. I think to speak to what Chris was saying a little bit earlier as well, in terms of the hearing and stuff like that, like there's a number of steps that would need to go forward that the community would have a chance to provide input on before there was ever a shovel in the ground. Unfortunately, the way the planning process works, tonight was about opening up the opportunity. Like we haven't reached an agreement with a developer yet or anything. This was to try and move the process along so that if we do reach an agreement, that then the process could continue to move forward. If we can't reach an agreement with the developer, like if he says, hey, I actually want you to give us, I want you to pay me to take the lot, then obviously that's a dead end, right? In which case then something might never ever happen. So it's great that everybody was here and provided their input. I think that gives a lot of direction to both administration and council in terms of the future and the direction in terms of that land, and what could or could not happen there. It is great to see this many people out. A lot of evenings, it's Brenda here with us from the Citizen and in an empty room. So when the community engages with like this, like even though I know you feel like the council is not against you, it's actually very heartening to see this many people here engaged and interested in their community and wanting to speak on behalf of their community. So I actually take this away as a very positive thing, and I think so does council. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming out tonight and expressing your opinions and providing us with your input. It provides a lot of direction. As I said, we're having conversations with the developer right now. So some of the things that you brought up could be things that we will most likely bring forward if we continue down that road. So yeah, absolutely. It's
When there is an open house, make sure you attend and tell your neighbors and let them know your concerns, and then they have to reiterate that and tell us those concerns, right? So make sure you do that.
Like, I'm sorry, I know you said tomorrow, but like I think Janine had said about, we talked about community gardens, whatever, like put together like what if somebody else came up with an idea for that land between now and, you know what I mean? Like to present to you guys, that's what I mean? Like that you're saying that this is just for the conditional use and no agreement's been made on that. So, okay.
Yeah, like I think if the community came forward with an amazing idea that was going to benefit the community, then council would take that into consideration in terms of the decision that they make.
You guys have a very,
That's you then.
yeah, you guys have, I was just gonna comment on that, sorry. You guys have a very strong community. I've always called Sennegath your golden voice since I've been around, contrary to what you might believe tonight, but you guys have the CDI, which no other community actually has. So that's a community development initiative or corporation, I can't remember. They get together, A, annually for an AGM, but B, whenever something needs to be done in the community, reach out to your CDI. I don't know who the chair is.
Joel Gagnon is the chair right now. Yeah,
So
he just took over for Sean Cruz.
reach out to them, communicate with your CDI. They have opportunities because they're funding opportunities because they are invested in participating in opportunities. They're not just there to say, yeah, we want to do it. They're there to say, yeah, we're going to do it. So reach out to your CDI. That's what I can say. Council is not ones that can participate. Unfortunately, we're ones that can just create a conditional use approval to make it happen. So please contact your CDI.
And I just wrote down my cell number by my name there. We have barbecues and campfires a lot. So if you wish to park by the case, take a walk to our place. And you're welcome to have a hot dog.
That's the first time I've ever been invited for a barbecue. Considering my demeanor, I appreciate that so much. I will be there for a hot dog for sure. So thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to end this. Unfortunately, we do have a longer night, so I'll give you guys 1 minute to leave. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but I do assure you that this is tabled until the next time. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Just gotta grab the attendance form.
Here, I can pass this.
I gotta be one, we have one more.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Shane, maybe shut the door.
I can't.
Where do they walk?
Is Don Chapeau here?
That's me.
I bet you were worried that these people are here for you. You're a little sweaty, Don. Okay,
You wore shorts.
6.2.2 C6 2026 Don Chapeau, 248 Petrick Terrace, Grand Point.
The applicant has made, was asking for conditional use for a home-based business consisting of administrative duties for Lumberjack Solutions in a rural residential service zone. Whereas a home-based business is a conditional use in the RRS zone as per zoning bylaw 9-2019.
I think you'll open the public hearing at 8:26 PM. Applicant or someone wishing to present on behalf of the applicant wanting to make any presentation. You don't have to. If you have something you want to tell council or council wants to ask, best time to do so.
Give us an overview.
If you want to give us an overview, it's always good.
Yeah,
Tell us what you do.
yeah.
It's a side business. I basically specialize in tree removal, tree pruning, stuff like that, mostly arborist. I'm certified, I have insurance. Just registering my business with the RM and using my house to run the admin side of it. Occasionally, I'll be cleaning my chainsaws, making sure that they're safe to operate, so blowing them out, stuff like that. The odd time I might have a trailer parked on my driveway, but that's specifically just to get to a job, come back, go to the dump, unload the branches of the trees, and then typically I store it at my dad's, who lives on the other side of town.
You don't have like large, like telehandlers or anything?
No, I don't have any large telehandlers, no chipper, nothing like that. It's just a truck and trailer, and then all of my other climbing gear, saws, and is in my garage.
Thank you. I saw Councillor Pelletier open his eyes when I said telehandler, so it must be a big word for me, right, Councillor Pelletier?
100%. You must have Googled that earlier.
I know, I even did it.
Council, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, when are you getting a tree chipper?
When I keep expanding, I guess, I keep growing.
I live in Grand Point. I need
Okay.
a tree chipper.
And
No,
again-
I have no questions.
No.
How many? We're working on another thing coming up in the agenda here, Mr. Chapeau, and are you doing a lot of trees? Like what kind of quantities are you looking at?
So right now it's like strictly side business. Last year I did like 52 jobs. This year I've already got 12 on the books. But I'm always looking to expand, and if this turns into like becoming a full-time job, so much the better. I love working for myself instead of for somebody else. It helps with my family as far as, you know, I'm able to put the kids on the bus and then be home to receive them. So that's the flexibility works for me. Love being outside, grew up on a farm, you know, so to answer your question, if you got trees, let me know.
Yeah, we're if you stick around for 10 more minutes, you'll probably see what we're doing. We're working with a company that's looking to break down trees and make carbon pellets, basically. So,
Excellent. Okay, thanks, Councillor Pelletier. Anything else from council? Nothing? Thanks very much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received in favor? No. Anyone wishing to speak against, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received against? No. Final call, any general questions, wishing to speak in favor or against, online, on the phone, or in person? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 8:29 PM. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bonner, Chuck second. Councillor Pelletier.
thanks for catching that, Dennis.
You're a away. Yeah.
There it be resolved that the conditional use application number C6 2026 is approved, subject to the following conditions. I would note for Councillor Pelletier that we did reduce the number of the conditions as per the earlier request. We've removed a number of the sort of bylaws and permits and normal things that would be applicable regardless.
Right.
So obviously, a couple things, hours of operation, 7 to 11, not to exceed 20% of total floor area.
All storage be inside as well would be the main ones. And then ensuring that there's no noxious or offensive hazardous by reason of emissions, production of odor, dust, refuse, matter, waste, vapor, gas, et cetera, that creates a nuisance beyond the property's line.
Thank you. I closed at 8:29 PM, just so you know.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, council debate discussion.
So in the conditions, Mr. CAO, the ones that are in here have already been revised?
We reduced it to 10.
No, because like hours of operation is a policy, is a bylaw. Right, right. So like some of them haven't been removed from the ones we're reading.
Yes, so which ones are you?
Which one have you removed?
So we originally have 15 conditions in there. We removed 4, 5, 6, 11, and 14.
Not 9.
We could remove 9 as well.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
a number.
They're not numbered in our,
Minor.
they're never numbered.
Yeah, maybe when you print them out, they're numbered, but on this, they're not.
Sorry, so we removed the noise bylaw, the building permit, the workplace health and safety, complying with all building codes, fire calls, provincial approvals, and the signage bylaws, and that's what we removed.
Okay, thank
Just
you.
remove the hours because that's part of the bylaw anyway, correct?
I believe so, is it? So umbrella, so we can remove 9 as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Okay, council debate discussion, anything else? Good here. No,
I think that covers everything. I would just ask Mr. Chapu to keep the amount of trailer days in his driveway to a minimum as best as possible.
telehandler days?
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, if I park the trailer on my driveway, I can't put my truck inside the garage, and my truck is worth 10 times more than that trailer.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None, that's carried. Thank you very much. Committee reports, minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second Councillor Belanger. We have the minutes from the Richard Library from Councillor Bondarchuk. Any comments on those? Seeing none. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None, that's carried. 9.1?
9.8, there is department reports that didn't print out.
8.
We got to figure that out, my apologies.
Okay, department reports.
So the CFO report is
Just for-
uploaded,
Just for discussion.
just for review.
Okay.
If there's any questions, I know Councillor Pelletier just inquired about interest rates. So I followed up with Mohammed and we'll be getting an answer out to council here shortly.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions? None. Moving on, 9.1 accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second Councillor Belanger.
So the batch summary has been uploaded. It accounts both, or it covers both accounts paid to be approved and accounts not to be paid. Didn't receive any questions ahead of time, but if there are any questions, please relay them to us and we'll provide council with an answer.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. 9.3 council indemnities. Do I have a mover?
Nope.
No,
You gotta do
we're
council
not
not
going
paid.
to.
Sorry. 9.2 accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bondarchuk, thank you.
He's.
It doesn't matter to me.
Oh.
I've covered it in the batch
Okay.
summary as well.
Council, anything to add? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. 9.3 council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second.
There's none.
Nothing.
There was
Okay.
nothing there.
Okay, thanks for printing off something that's redundant. 9.4 payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Bondarchuk.
So the quarterly Rishaw Fire Department payroll has been submitted for council's review.
Thank you. Council comments, questions? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That's carried. Thank you. 12.1.14165-26-8465 Joyce Vincent's 2-lot residential. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
So Joyce Vincent has made application for a 2-lot residential subdivision. And the MRPD recommends the approval, subject to a number of conditions that are outlined in the motion.
Thank you. Council, open up for discussion, debate, anything to add, comment on? We discussed this at the last committee of the whole meeting. Nothing.
Good here.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. Thank you. 12.1.2, 4165-26-8471, that O'Shea Construction Limited 2-lot residential and commercial. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bonner-Shuck, second. Councillor Pelletier.
So they made an application for a 2-lot residential and commercial subdivision, essentially subdividing off the home from the shop. There's MRPD recommends approval. Conditions again are outlined in the motion as well.
Thank you. Council comments or questions?
It's been a long slog, this one, so nice to see it finish up here.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. Thank you. 12.1.3, 4165-26-8479, Terracon Development Limited 2-lot residential multifamily minor. Do I have a mover? Councillor Blanchet, second. Councillor Pelletier.
The owners, Terracon, have made application for a 2-lot residential multifamily subdivision within the new development in Ile-des-Chênes. MRPD again recommends approval, subject to a number of conditions, which are outlined in the motion.
Thank you. Council comments, questions, debate.
It's all good for the future planning of this area, so.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. Are these things, or do you just make this up?
There's no public works matters other than the subweed supervisor.
This discussion, or?
That's this year, no, that's.
Oh, I see.
Big one, like
12.2, yes, thank you. 12.2.1, subweed supervisor, sub-inspector for the municipality. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bonner-Shuck, second. Councillor Pelletier.
This is to appoint David Huskar, Parks and Infrastructure lead hand, as a subweed supervisor inspector for the municipality. So fairly straightforward.
You council comments, questions?
I think this will help support Lionel, who's on the Red River Weed Board, and being the end of the run, we sometimes get the last of the spray that's in the bottom of the barrel. So I think this will help control our area a lot more and take some load off of him.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. 12.3.1, March 2026 building permit report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Sorry, Councillor Pelletier, did you raise your hand? I thought I saw you glitch. Thank you. Do I have a second? Councillor Belanger.
So statistics are uploaded. There was a little bit of an error, just a typo within one of the earlier forms. So we've corrected that and it's now uploaded. In terms of 2026 stats, we are at total permits issued 55. Again, the total value around $230 million. That does include the wastewater treatment facility, but I will continue to relay that number. As opposed to last year, we were at about 21 permits at this time and about $7 million.
The largest growth we've seen from any scale in the history of the world.
Thank you very much. 1 year.
Council, any comments or questions?
No.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. 12.6 carbon lock MOU. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bonner-Shuck, second. Councillor Pelletier.
So as council's aware, Carbon Lock came and did the presentation to council a while ago now. We've continued to work with them to develop a plan to add their infrastructure and their technology out at the landfill site. And so we've got the MOU, we've brought that forward to council, who have had a chance to review and provide input. We're now asking for approval to sign that MOU. Allow them to move forward. We hope to break ground hopefully before summer, and no exact timeline on when the device, machine, technology.
Pyrolyzer.
Yes, would be up and running. But obviously, long-term, a good thing to be able to bring the technology and divert waste from the landfill in the long term and support the climate on Climate Day.
Thank you, Mr. Climate's birthday today.
Is it birthday today or Sunday?
We did a fantastic post today.
Wow, that's right.
Birthday.
Great. Council comments, questions, debate, discussion.
I'm happy to see this go. I think it's great. Rochelle will be a leader in this and
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of eyes on this and it's something very, very positive.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried.
Councillor Boulanger did want to have a conversation, other matters, the rebate letter for recycling
Did you want to just?
Sure.
now or?
13.2, was that in camera or no?
We can do it later. It's just.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just had some
General
questions?
Yep.
Cancel the whole meeting later, thank you. Okay, so we've got nothing in camera, council, anything to go into camera, none. Moving on to 15, adjournment, do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second, Councillor Pelletier.
Can you see my hand?
Final comments and thoughts, none, have a great Earth Day, everyone. Please take care of the earth around you, it's the only thing we have, only one we have. Call for the question, all those in favor?
One moment, your worship. It is Earth Day today, but it's also the last time we meet before we hit Mr. Ray's 1-year anniversary. Just want to recognize that.
So on behalf of council, we appreciate the work you put in for the last almost 1 year. I'm not gonna give you full recognition because you haven't hit it yet. You could be fired tomorrow for all. I know. But you've done a great job and we appreciate you keeping us guided and keeping the administration on ship to the best of your ability. So thank you so much. You've done a great job and continue to do the work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Pelletier, for making me feel like a schmuck for forgetting.
Anytime, your worship.
Yeah, I will call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. I'll close the meeting at 8:42 PM. Have a good night, everyone. You can stop recording. For the record, I didn't
Wait,
forget.
No, he did not. He actually got me a present.
Yes.
Hang on, still recording.
Wait,
anyone say-
wait.
So just, yeah, that was what Shane
Stop.